Hi everyone, it's Audiophile Journeyman. I want to do a video for my tape decks. These I don't feature too often. I usually am playing LPs or CDs. These are some of the original, well, one of them is the original pieces I purchased new when I was just starting out. It's on the bottom, it's the Nakamichi 582Z. It's what is one of the flagship tape decks, and I was thrilled to purchase it brand new when it first came out. And I'd used it for probably a solid decade or so before I got into CDs, which were CDs were worth listening to. This to me was like phenomenal tape deck, did well. I have like probably 300 or 400 cassettes I've made, which were transfers from LPs to cassette. Was the standard at the time to make music that way, to record music for yourself. It's got a basic layout. It is a no frills version, meaning everything you got to do is manual. You can see here some of the features for bias settings and different azimuth settings, which are tone controls set on the tape deck, and you align them with the screwdriver as you play back through the system here with different settings. I'm not going to go through that because it takes a long time. And if people are very interested in that, I might do it, but you got to put that in the comments because it really is a long video to watch, and I don't think many people will be all that thrilled with it. Otherwise, it's a straightforward tape deck. It's got different metal versus chrome tape styles you could set to. It was the first Dolby C cassette deck at the time. I mean, I don't know if others there might have been, but this to me was the new Nakamichi. Just came out with Dolby C. It has BNC for noise reduction, which made a big difference. Like I said, it's got metal capability as well as chrome, as well as just standard bias settings. I always use the chrome. I didn't use the metal all that much because the tapes were much more expensive. And there were typically 60 minutes instead of 90, which means, less playback space on one. I'm trying to say on that. But otherwise, it was a great recording device. It has 3 heads, record, playback, and alignment. So this was, like I said, the first one I purchased in 1980. At some point later, I found this in a record store, and it wasn't working at the time. So I took it to a local service center that specializes in Nakamichi and actually has the parts and everything else you can imagine. So we replaced a lot of components and realigned it perfectly. It's a 2-head, so it has no record head, so it takes the alignment of playback and record together, so it doesn't record as well. I did not record a lot with it. It's all been playback only. It functions well. It has an auto reverse, which is, you see that mechanism? It turns the tape back out and brings it in to flip it over for you at the end of the tape. It's Dolby C. It's probably a 19. Guess at the age, maybe 2000 or 1990, early 90s. So probably a good 10, 15 years newer than the original. So as far as playback clarity, they're the same. I would love to get this one. This one's never been serviced, the original, so it doesn't play back as well. I don't like to use it very much because I'm sure the different belts and so forth absolutely need to be replaced, and it's very expensive to do so. I should probably do it just to get it over with, but don't want to spend the money on something like that for no good reason. Again, so this one is has all the standard features: playback, record, tape settings, and so forth for metal and Dolby B and C. These are the level settings. There's just simple levers and things. Again, well, I'm sorry, this side's the tape settings and so forth. And the different eject and just different aspects of the tape deck. They're very straightforward devices to use. You're pretty much going to play, put the tape in, hit play, and go. It can fast forward, and you can hear the tape as it goes. So you can kind of determine where you want to be. CDs were a phenomenal step forward over these. As good as these are the best tape decks Nakamichi anyway. Are the best tape decks ever made and sound good. These do not sound great though. The high end definitely is rolled off when you listen to a CD or an LP. A good, turntable with a good cartridge sound better, clearer than these do. That was the downside of cassettes. They play back at lower speed. I think it's 1 7/8 inches per second. Where reel is either, for a very low end, is probably like a 3 inches per second, probably more likely a 7 or a 15 inch per second, which sounds a lot better. Supposedly, now I don't have a reel-to-reel. I never purchased one, but they sound as close as you can get to the original recording. So I'm told. These sound good. Certainly, they're worth having and restoring if you do have one. I love using them. They're very convenient, easy to use. They do sound good. They're not as dynamic. Again, the high end isn't as very well represented, as well as the mid-range. It seems a little dull at times. And that could be the age of the tape and everything else. I have a full box of tapes I've made 40 years ago at this point, and they still work. So, in that sense, it's a good investment if you're going to keep things and have music for it. Again, so this thing is 582Z. They have things here for screwdriver settings, which run test tones, which you could set up and play back and align the heads accordingly and different azimuth and things like that. It's all manual, where the Dragon, which was their Premiere, is all built in, automatic. Certainly, I was not going to purchase something at that level at that point. And it's got the tape settings and so forth, the different tape types and playback types. It's got Dolby C, first one ever for Dolby C. I probably already mentioned that. So for Nakamichi, this was a mid-range to a top-of-the-line model in 1980. And really, for me, it's been an awesome deck to use. It still works. Like I said, it probably needs all new belts and alignments, and everything needs to be replaced. So it's very expensive to do so. I just don't want to put the money into it. But otherwise, it's a working thing, and it's 40, 50 years old without a care in the world, really, except for that. So I recommend if you can pick these up, if you're really into them as a collector or just somebody who likes them. They are in the market. This one I found, like I said, in a record store used, and it wasn't working at the time. And then this I got all fixed up and cleaned up. Probably for $700, $800, maybe even a little more. I don't remember, but it's a good working deck, and it plays well enough, as good as this one would. Because to me, I don't think you'd hear a big difference between the two at this point after all this many years, and the tape quality is not improved. I have Denon tapes because at the time there's things I was just purchased. I have DX8s and DX10s, I think they were, or DXMs. And I have a whole box. I have like probably three or 400 tapes that I have. So just, it's something over time you accumulate just like CDs and use and appreciate what they are. So hopefully this video makes sense. Again, Nakamichi 582Z from about 1980. And this is the RX202. This is probably from the early 90s, but I got it used in the early 2000s, or even probably 2015. So things are out on the market. Definitely pick them up if you see them. They're kind of cool and built to last. They're very heavy. They're probably like 15 pounds each. So just amazing to find in working condition. All right. So thank you very much, and I'll get this posted today, and I'll probably produce a jazz video this weekend too, a weekend jazz, probably Miles Davis. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good New Year and good Christmas. Bye.